911 emergency, what do you report?
Mask. Wear a mask. You can craft one really fast. Tie a scarf around your neck, that's what the CDC is asked. Get some cloth, rubber bands, or sew on your own by hand. It will help you be protected so that...
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another great episode of We Speak Dispatch. We're speaking it right to you. Right to you. We're talking to you. Are you listening? You should be listening. And you should be telling all of your dispatch friends, hey, I need to start listening to We Speak Dispatch on every podcast. We'll talk about it in a second, or every platform you could think of. We'll talk about that in a second too. But we're joined by our usual suspects out there. We got John and Joe down there in our bottom boxes right there, like the Hollywood squares almost. And it's like, we just need Paul in center square. Anyway, so I hate to date myself on that, but we got April joining us today. April, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm
Okay,
good.
well.
I'm over. Finally.
You're over it. Well, we wanted to kind of talk about something that's impacting everybody at this point, and that's COVID. And COVID, I mean, I got tested positive, Jill's positive, Joe got tested positive, April's positive, John probably is, who knows, but it's like, it's affecting all of our comm centers, it's affecting our businesses, what we can do, how we feel about things. I feel sorry for kids in school today that are going to be growing up with masks and all this stuff and being afraid to touch anything, and how they're going to react when they're a teenager and you need to start touching a lot of things. So, all right, so let's go ahead and go around the room and see what your experience has been so far. Is it okay to wear a mask at work? Do you have to? Do you have those plastic dividers up? What do you guys have? What do you think? Who's going to go first?
I'll go ahead and go because I got the background that kind of summarizes here. COVID has kind of been like a dumpster fire, you know. Everybody's doing it different or one way. You got pro-vaccine, you got against vaccine. You could even say there's some political ramifications from it. So I'll just stick to, talking a little bit about our agency. We did put up the barriers over our furniture relatively quickly. So they've been up quite a long time. I do think that's helped with the spread. We went 19 months in our agency before anybody got it. And so I'm pretty proud of that. And now with this, I don't know how to say it, so nobody make fun of me, but this Omicron, I don't know if I'm saying it right, variant being very contagious. You know, we've had a few people, including myself, get that. And luckily we haven't had a mass outbreak, and I hope we never do. But for the mask, we're supposed to wear them coming in and out of the building, and also if we get up from our council, but our councils are more than 6 feet apart, so we do not wear them when talking on the radio or the phone.
Does anybody clean those plastic dividers? I mean, are you cleaning those on a regular basis? So if you do get something on there, it's like...
I was at first. I bought this really high sanitation type solution.
Yeah.
And I bought, it looks like a Swiffer, and it's about a little bit double as wide as a Swiffer, and you can take it and like use it to clean the barriers.
Yeah.
And I probably need to step that up and go back to doing that more often. We did it at first. The dispatchers kind of would laugh about it, but I did do it at first. I just haven't done it in a while.
All right. All right. Well, what about April? What about you in Missouri over there? What are you guys doing? How's it impacting your center? All that.
So whenever it first came out, we were taking it very seriously, obviously, and we did not put up the barriers, but kind of like Joe's, our consoles are, about 6 feet apart. We've got 10 consoles in our center. We're a smaller, medium-sized center, I guess. But they can actually sit and be social distance from each other at each console. But we did require masks. We bought everybody masks. We bought the high-powered cleansing stuff and cleaned constantly before, after shifts.
Do they have to wear masks when they're sitting at their console?
We did that in the beginning. So they had to, we locked the center down. We wouldn't let anybody come in because, we're open we dispatch for 26 agencies. So any of our law enforcement, fire could pop in, EMS could pop in. So we were trying to be really careful. We bought the UV wands, and we did pretty well for a while, and kind of had some plans with some neighboring jurisdictions for like cross training and if we would have to help each other out.
Oh, that's great. Wow. That's neat.
Yeah. And then when we started getting it in the center, we had a dispatcher who'd gone, she went everywhere she shouldn't. She went to Seattle. She went to Las Vegas. She went all with 3 months of each other, where that, whenever, COVID first came out, it was well known that it was on the West Coast.
Yeah.
More. And then she went to Vegas. Then, of course, it was on cruises. She went on a cruise, but she was testing. There was no testing in the beginning, and then she was testing negative. So that kind of started the downhill slide for us, where some people got it. I was one of the first ones at our center to get it, officially get it and get tested. And we just at that point set up, we have a boardroom. It's kind of like our training room boardroom. We set that up as a clean room. So we'd put the UV lights in that, clean that, had some consoles up and live, and we just tried to plan out where we're going to send people to work from home or where we're going to have them work in the clean room. And then things kind of died down for a while, and we did really well and just kind of tore that room down and went back to kind of being a little lazy about cleaning the comm center. And now this Omicron variant is flying through our center like wildfire. We've had a lot of people test negative, but their family members are testing positive. And I was positive. It's gone crazy, and it's caused some staffing issues. We're running short staffed, and we're
So
picking
if
on some
somebody
of our.
gets it, do they have to stay away from work for a certain amount of time? Do you have like a week or 5 days or whatever it is out there?
So our health departments are still isolating people for 10 days, but we're following the CDC guidelines. Like if they have no symptoms, then they could come back after that 5th day, but they just have to wear a mask for another 5 days. But if they still have symptoms, which is what we found, then we're telling them just stay away if you have symptoms, and then symptom free, you can come back and wear your mask up to the 10 days, and then you're good.
Wow.
What is I'm curious, April, you said UV wands. What are they? And are they like the Swiffer things that Joe was talking about?
No, they're like little plastic wands that have a UV light, and it's set to supposedly disinfect anything that you run the wand over. And then we have one of my board members works for a large manufacturing company, or did work for a large manufacturing company that manufactures Hostess Twinkies. So lots of foods. And
Wow.
he turned us on to a device, a big device that you can put in a room, close the doors, and that is a UV like sanitizer. And we did that clean room. Otherwise, the wands, we have wands in the comm room and in our support staff area, like our front offices, and they can just run it over the keyboards and the mouse.
So you don't have to clean anything. You just run that wand over and you don't have to wipe it down, or?
We did both. We were wiping down and using the UV wands. We ruined every type of wood that we have in the building by all the lights we sprayed too.
Wow.
One of my favorite things, Doug, is we had one little wand for the UV as well. It didn't get used too much. It was just too little. But one of the things that happens where I work is once somebody in the agency tests positive, HR does all the paperwork and the communication, and then they communicate with the people that clean in the buildings. And they come in with like this gun like thing, and it's some sort of mixture, and they spray down the council that they were last known to sit at.
Oh my God.
And it's I don't know what kind of mixture it is, but we can't like be out of the room when they do it. It doesn't. I was there the last time they did it finally and got to smell it. It's not overpowering. And actually, at first, the first few times it happened, the dispatchers, they were kind of vocal about it. But the last time, I think they felt a little bit better, but it doesn't happen overnight. So, by the time HR gets word about it, and then they're communicated with, and they communicate with the cleaning people, it could be 2 shifts later, 2 days later. So that's kind of the thing, as they feel, well, why are you coming now? But I'm just glad that they're taking it serious and doing something.
Right. Well, how about you, John? I know you work in such a big center. I don't know how you can separate people because it's so massive.
So
it's like,
unfortunately, I guess large centers have that ability though with our footprint to space people out. Doesn't mean we have less people working. Just means we space people out more. For there, we also have a training room with 11 consoles. So if we need to, we could even break people out further, which is right off the operations floor. But we haven't needed to use it in that capacity. Otherwise, you have a lot of dispatch, call taking, and fire dispatch consoles. So we've just maximized more of those regularly and switched seats less regularly and keeping the 6 foot distance. But the county now has mandated as of January, so just say January-ish of 2022, that everybody in any county facility wear a mask. So we are now wearing masks at the console, not just when stepping away.
Oh, you have to wear it when you're working?
Yeah.
Ooh, wow, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
The county mandate now.
Well, let me ask all of you, do you guys have any problem with 2 things? One, do you offer testing? Like if somebody just says, I don't feel well, do you guys get them a test, or can you go send them somewhere and make a test, or what do you guys do with that? April, what do you guys do?
We do in Jasper County. Whenever it first came out, of course, we partnered with a neighboring hospital, and we had partnered with one of our local urgent care facilities to test our people. And because they were first responders, Missouri had passed some quick legislation, I guess, if you will, with the health departments to identify that first responders were going to be, and healthcare workers were going to be getting like early treatment and early testing.
Yeah.
Just to keep them working. So we had a lot of luck doing that, and we haven't had to do it for such a long time. And now with the Omicron variant, we're starting that back up again.
Do you test everybody, or is it just somebody who wants to go take a test can go take a test?
Somebody who wants to go take a test. In the beginning, it was if they had a symptom.
Yeah.
Like if I just felt like they, their symptoms were bad enough that they needed to go or they needed to stay home, then we'd say, go test, and if you test positive, we had a policy that we would pay them for their entire time off, and it would not come out of their sick leave. So it was something we were just covering. And then that policy, my board let it lapse. So they said, we're not going to renew it when the Delta variant came through. And now the Omicron variant, we're still kind of back to normal, like where they're using their sick time and stuff. So I'm noticing people who, they may do a home test, but they don't have enough sick time. So I'm worried about that. Yeah, I'm worried about that. So they're so far everybody's been doing good. Like if they did test at home and they tested positive, or they're feeling sick, they're staying home. But if they can't find a place to test, we're getting them scheduled to go test.
Okay. What about you, Joe? Do you guys have tests available? Can they go take an instant test, or can you send them?
We do not have tests available for them. They're working through it at the upper levels of the city where I work, and trying to find out how they may be able to make those available. But right now you would have to go get yourself tested. So either a home test or talk to your medical professional or whatever it might be. Go to one of the places that are offering instant COVID tests, whatever, to get yourself tested. So right now it's up to you to get tested.
And what about you guys, John? What are you guys doing down there?
Yeah, it's up to person's time and dime.
Oh, really? Wow. I thought everybody would have had those instant tests you can get, those little $10 quick tests.
For the county has come out, for those who are unvaccinated must get tested weekly. And there's a contract with the county that they use, which is during work hours.
Yeah.
The person is there. But if they're not, if I'm just not feeling well and I'm curious, do I have it? I have to go get the test myself. And just like April said, if I test, I have to report it. Then the health department gets notified, and I'm using my own leave.
I thought there was something about the government will pay people to be off work for.
That's sunset, like April said. For us. Joe, do you still have it?
We had a COVID policy where when it first hit, kind of very similar to April, where they were letting them use leave and being paid for it without it coming out of their paid time off accounts. But that did lapse and expired. Our leave is really hard to explain in a short amount of time, but they're letting them use what's called long-term illness that is typically set aside for FMLA type things. But once you test positive, they're letting you go into that account right away instead of using any of your own personal time. Is the best way I can describe it to somebody that doesn't understand all of our accounts.
Well, let me, in our final few minutes we got here, and this is a hot button issue, please. You're not representing your agencies. We know that going in, you're not. But let me just ask you this. What do you think about confidentiality rules here? If somebody is coughing at work, is it okay to tell them, you need to go get a test? What's wrong with you, man? You need to go get a test. I mean, I'm always so suspicious of this kind of stuff because it's like, how far are we going to go now? You got a cold, you got a flu, you got whatever. Do you guys have any of that going on where somebody's coughing and they're coming telling you going, Bill's got it? It's like, anybody have that?
Yeah, we got some people that when somebody comes to work and maybe the other person just is a little bit off, or they sneeze or they cough or whatever it might be. The rest of the people, it's a tough one to balance. And what I've said is, if you can just make sure you separate even more. We can separate from more than 8 feet, or we can put them, we're in 2 buckets of 4, kind of, we're an 8 council PSAP, and go work in your own, what I'll call a bucket. So you're a good 10, 12, 15 feet away from anybody else with barriers up and everything else if you have to cough. And I mean, even for me, I'll speak to my own personal experiences. I went back to work. I know I'm negative, but I've got this post-COVID cough and it's annoying. And I know if I was sitting out on the dispatch floor and constantly hacking that, I may make some people nervous. I got the benefit of being a manager where I work, so I can go in my office and close the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did that at the grocery store the other day. I was walking down an aisle and I coughed and everybody's looking at me. I'm like, it's okay. It's all right. I'm not at that point. I wasn't positive. Now I'm kind of positive. So April, John, have you guys had any of that going on where people are kind of like, now they're really scared about somebody coughing at work or sneezing, and it's like, oh my God, it's not just a sneeze, it's COVID. Anybody have any of that?
I have a little bit of it, but my people are really close.
I just coughed.
Oh, you're in trouble. Now, my people who are worried about it the most is because they have somebody at home that might be jeopardized if they got COVID.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they're wearing masks to work themselves. So they're just constantly, they've got their mask on and they might pull it down when they're at console, but if they're up running around, and I have another girl who's wearing her mask full 100% of the time. She has a child at home that's compromised. And so she doesn't want her to get it. And
sure.
I can respect that. If I have somebody who, like I do, it is controversial, but I do have somebody at work that was not vaccinated, that spouse was positive, that had some nasal drip and cough and a little bit of cough, but sounded congested. And I said, you're not going to come to work tomorrow until you get tested. And I know that's, I know it can be frustrating, but I also have a responsibility to all of our people to keep them safe.
Yeah.
And he completely understood and was good with it. And I don't know that, I mean, things have died down now because everybody ended up getting it, and it wasn't his fault at all. But I think it is controversial. I think it just depends on how good of a relationship you have in the comm center. Yeah. And we're lucky that everybody understood, like they care about each other, and they know that it's not coming from a place of like, oh, don't get me sick. It's coming from like, I'm worried about you and I really hope your health is okay. And I just want you to know I'm here for you to cover your shifts if you have to go home.
Sure.
And that's what I think makes it more beneficial. So we haven't seen a lot of problems with it.
It's a weird time. I'm glad I don't work in a comm center at this point, but it's a weird time for all y'all that have to work in these comm centers, and just the amount of terror that the media is telling you to be so afraid of everything. And it's like, I'm thinking, my God, you need to wear gloves and a mask and double masking. And you guys all does your agency provide masks to all your employees? John, do you guys do that? John, do you have that? He doesn't know.
John's he's unfreezing. He says yes, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
And you, Joe, do you guys do that?
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, we do provide that, and we provide hand sanitizer that we keep at the doors, and we also provide alcohol wipes and Lysol wipes, and we provide everything possible to try and keep our place safe. And for our staff, they do a really good job at trying to separate, making sure that they're getting tested if they feel sick. They're really doing a fantastic job. I'm really proud of them.
That's cool. That's very great. I mean, it's good that we're all kind of on that same kind of like, we want everybody to be healthy because we want staffing to stay. We want to be able to keep working. So we have those issues. So again, everybody, I really appreciate you all joining us today for this COVID special or COVID whatever that thing's called. So the Delta variant's much easier to say than the other thing. So, but it's nice. Hey, Joe, tell us how many stations we got now, what's going on with that. It's so exciting.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud. We hit 10,000 plays on our podcast platforms. That's awesome. And we're also in 31 different countries. So make sure you're checking us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, or your favorite platform.
And if you want to be a guest on here and sit where April's sitting, well, not necessarily in her house, but in that box down there, just let us know. Send us a note and say, hey, I want to join you guys. I want to talk about this topic or that topic, or maybe you don't even have a topic. You just want to join us. That's fine too. I've got a lot of topics that I could show for you right there. So I'm ready to go. So just let us know, send us an email, send us a message, whatever it might be. Other than that, have a great day, everybody. Go make it a great day. All right. Good luck to you. And
hi, this is Courtney, and you've been listening to another great episode of We Speak Dispatch, proudly sponsored by our friends at Zybex.
Mask. Wear a mask. You can craft one really fast. Tie a scarf around your neck. That's what the CDC